I have a friend with me today, and I'm so excited. So I'm going to tag her. And then while I'm doing that and doing all the techie good stuff, I'm going to let Alta introduce herself. Some of you already know her. And if you do, pop in, say hi. Please introduce yourself, chit chat, all that good stuff. You know how it goes.
All right, all right. Well, Bonnie, thank you so much for having me. Now, you and I have known each other for a really long time. My name is Alta. I'm owner of Foundation Fitness and Nutrition and creator of the Fit Menopause Method program. Again, Bonnie and I have known each other for quite some time. Back in the early days of our careers, Southern California, we were lucky enough to be a part of a team in a women's only gym and day spa bonus. But
Yes.
it was such an amazing time to be in the industry of fitness and nutrition, and wonderful teams that we got to connect with, as well as just focusing on women and their health. So here we are 17 years later,
I know, right?
which is
Oh my
insane.
gosh.
17 years later, and we're still not only doing what we've done before, but like, and then some. So talk about a really big curve of making this a career and becoming experts in our field. And it's so cool to come back and be able to share all of this information now with the World Wide Web, right? I mean, it was there back then, but it's here in another way. So it's so awesome to be able to reach that many more women and provide this information, not just information, but positive education and ways to implement, even more important.
Exactly, exactly. Like I remember starting out and I thought I was going to train for a little bit and then I'm going to go work with sports team and that's what I'm going to do for my career. And I don't do anything like that now. I also thought I was always going to be in some sort of physical fitness role. And that even changed over the years. And it's interesting how you and I kind of evolved into our own expertise.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll tell you guys, like, I mean, you want to get a good butt kick in the gym, you want to walk out feeling like you did a great job, like you're going to be sore, but not feeling it just yet, then you definitely want to go into Alta's class. There's a lot of different variables with those classes, but like that's not everything. That is just one small piece. We talked yesterday on my live about the supplements that I just started a month ago, and I was sharing with everyone how they actually have been really helpful. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pulling in my ear because I'm like, yeah, the ringing in my ear, like it's gone.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that's been kind of a irritant.
I
Lovely
can imagine.
part of this phase of life. Um, and it all started with an invitation to the watch party and watching
Mm-hmm.
that video. And I remember talking to my sister a little bit after that about how, we had that discussion over no one's really talking about this and we really do need to start having conversations, especially nowadays where we have access to so many studies
Mm-hmm.
that we've recognized and realized that there's so few studies about perimenopause and menopause. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
health, and
yeah.
even mentioned before we came on about um, your muscle structure and how that starts to degrade long before we even realize it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And if for those of you who are watching, if you have not yet watched the M Factor, and I believe it's available on PBS, I highly recommend. It's a good scratch the surface, get started in understanding that, oh my gosh, all of these women are experiencing different symptoms, right? Although there are the common ones, each woman experiences things very differently. So it's a wonderful beginning of the conversation. But what the wonderful, refreshing part is that we're starting to talk about it now, and that
Yeah.
studies for women are actually being done on women. And that is really exciting. We are in a new era, I'm calling it. And I think this is the last time that women will, who are experiencing it right now, will be the last ones to feel like they're experiencing it alone, or feel like there's not enough the proper information and the proper support. And I pray that that is the case, because we've got the information, we've got women who are ready to start talking, we've got the professionals and support in place, that this is kind of a more exciting time now because we have that. And it's really great because you won't feel like you're going through it alone. You won't feel like you're going crazy or the only one to be experiencing these things. And now there's proper information of what you can do for yourself and with support. So it's a great time.
It is. It is. And, you know, down here, we haven't had a lot, I haven't noticed a lot of women's health facilities, specifically women's health, not only just alternative medicine and holistic health, but your conventional offices as well. And they're popping up left and right. And it's very exciting.
They are.
Very exciting, especially the ones that are offering bioidentical, they're offering, you know, more holistic, more natural practices, because that's a lot of where society wants to kind of play right now. Even though for some of us that may or may not be an option. So
right. Yeah. Even though they're popping up left and right, they're not yet to the point where it is really an option for everybody, right? Right now, those who can access it are going to be able to, but I do feel like in the close future it will be a lot more available here in the Portland, Oregon area. I know there's a Portland Menopause collective, so we've got medical professionals coming together to support women, right? So these things are coming together. They're trying to make it accessible. They're trying to make it in a way that no matter how much money you have, right? Or insurance or no insurance, that it's a little bit more accessible. So thank goodness.
Yeah, that's definitely a challenge. You know, it's something that I know we both run into a lot, is you run into these women and they just want help. But the budget that they have doesn't always align with what they need. So to have accessible help and assistance so that we can all have thriving lives.
Right. Yeah.
Fabulous.
So agreed.
Big. Yeah. So some of you know, because I've talked about it, I started with Alta's Bootcamp a couple days a week. And I know she's got several programs out there to help. Specifically, her focus is menopause, perimenopause, postmenopause as well.
Absolutely.
All of it? Okay.
I take them from perimenopause to postmenopause.
I love it. I love it. And I know the bootcamp is not the only thing that you have available. So you have a signature program that you had mentioned to me, and it sounded so cool and so interesting. Can you tell people about that? Or
absolutely, yeah. So let me explain. I have 3 options that I have available to service women, and it's one of those things where it's trying to make things accessible to everybody. So the classes that I teach, the virtual classes that Bonnie attends, we bring in a strength element, a Pilates yoga element, and cardio. Why is that? Because those are the 3 very important things that women need in combination to help reach their fitness success. Okay, so that's level 1. Level 2 is I do provide an online personal training service as well, where it is a one-on-one delivered through my fitness app. And that is just like personal training in person. You get a program that is designed specific for you. You complete the workouts. Now, the program that I created, the Fit Menopause Method program, it comes into a lot of research, experience with my clients over the last 17 years, my own personal experience going through medical menopause. I'm technically considered postmenopausal. So, you know, when you like to think of who's menopause, right? You cannot just look at a woman and go, you're postmenopause, or not these days. And so I have experienced my own menopause experience. And so through all of that, I created pulled out the most important elements: nutrition, fitness, lifestyle habits that will have the most bang for someone's buck to help calm our system, become reacquainted with our bodies and who we are now, and helps bring out the best in all of those things. So helping you feel your vitality, your energy, your strength, your power, your own empowerment. right? And now keep in mind, maybe you want to get strong again. Maybe you want to be able to do the hobbies that you used to do. Maybe you just want to fit into the pair of jeans that no longer have been fitting, but they've been hanging out in your closet for a decade or so, right? We pull all of those things together to help your body get into more of a holistic feel, right? And a better balance. And then it's able to go, okay, I see what you want to do. We can get there, right? Now, it's magic. It's like magic when you bring all these things together, but you got to work those magic pieces. And when you do, oh, you just leave feeling so much better, feeling like you are capable and independent. And guess what? I want you to feel that way for as long as you possibly can. And so that is how the program works. We bring in that nutrition, the fitness, and the lifestyle habits in a way that is repeatable and be practice, right? Because we are humans and we are not perfect. And we've got a lot of history that we've got to work through. And so these are routines and disciplines and things like that that we want you to be able to continue after the program, because this is a lifestyle, right? Our catchphrase is train for life. So this is not a 16-week program, one and done. These are things that you continue to do because you feel so dang good doing them. And that's the magic.
That is the magic. That really is. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of us that worked at Total Woman, we kind of all follow that process of, this isn't just a 16-week program. It's not just a 90-day
Right.
program. There's not 12 weeks and you're out. Like, you've
Right.
got to keep this going, because it's just maintenance.
Yeah.
It really is
Yeah.
maintenance. So one of the things that I get a lot of confusion about is, why do we need strength training as we age? And people seem to think that it's just because of the bone density. And while that's very true, that's not all of it. So that's, since you are our fitness expert, can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's very common for women to think about their number one goal in the gym is weight loss, right? Now, I don't think that's women's number one goal, but we maybe have gotten all of these messages, right? Whether it's your culture, the media, your family and friends, and these messages are like, women need to be these tiny little things, and that's what you need to do, and you must lose weight, right? So you step into a gym, especially 17 years ago and more, right? And what are women doing? They're in the cardio room and they are running and elliptically and cycling and all of these things. Yet they don't step into the gym space. And I consider the gym space the weight room, right? So you've got all these women on the cardio equipment and they're burning the candle at both ends. On the cardio, they're sweating, they're burning calories, which is great, but they are doing nothing about their long-term metabolism. Now, if you think about your body and your metabolism, that's the calories you burn in any given day. Let's just even call it like just living, right? Meaning just being here present. Now, if you have some great muscle mass on your body, your metabolism is fired up and you are burning some serious calories. Well, why is that? It's because muscle burns more calories per pound versus fat. Fat only burns like, now, I haven't checked the numbers again because they vary, right? But let's say it's 2 to 3 calories per pound that fat burns, okay? But muscle mass burns, like, let's just say it's double or triple that, right? So if we're going pound for pound, the fat is not pulling its weight, really, right? That's my little joke. It's not pulling its weight, but it takes up more space per pound. So fat is taking up more space. It's not burning more calories. But muscle mass now, let's say again, burns 2 to 3 times than fat does. It takes up less space than fat does. So if a woman cares about, let's say, what clothes size she wears, okay? And I think that's more important than what we weigh, because we can tell more of what our body composition is doing in size versus in weight, right? Because like I said, fat takes up more space per pound than muscle does. So With that being said, we could weigh more, but be a smaller size if we have less body fat and more muscle mass. Now that's one thing, okay? That's only if you care like about your body composition and maybe what size you wear. But longer term, we begin losing muscle mass in our mid 30s, okay? We don't know it's happening. It just begins to happen. And then sometime in our 40s, we wake up one day, 40s or 50s, we wake up one day and all of a sudden our clothes don't fit. And we're like, what happened to these jeans? I used to be able to just suck it in and pull them up. Now I can't even do that. So what happens there? We likely began to lose muscle mass, which slowed our metabolism. Highly likely, then we began to expand in our fat cells without noticing again, right? Because if we're losing muscle mass, we almost look like we're losing weight, right? But if our fat cells begin to increase, then that balances out, but it doesn't balance out equally. So what happens is we maybe think we're losing weight. We're like, oh, great. But actually you're losing muscle mass, or maybe your weight doesn't even change. So you don't know that something is happening again until one day you wake up and your clothes don't fit like they used to. So there's the immediate, how we fit into the clothes. Then there's the longer term. If we begin losing muscle mass in our 30s and our metabolism slowly, again, it's so minimal, begins to tank, but we don't notice it. That is what I consider one of the most important things that we can do to gain that muscle mass is to lift heavy stuff, okay? Again, one of my more fun taglines now, lifting heavy shit. And why is that? Because we need to reclaim that muscle mass, all right? So lifting weights or strength training is the key number one way we can reignite that metabolism fire. So if you have a goal of either losing weight or fitting into your clothes a little bit better, the number one thing you can do is begin to lift weights, and not light weights. Begin lifting heavier weights, and this is relative to who we are, what our abilities are, what our bodies are capable of doing, okay? But lifting heavy weights so that we can trigger muscle gain again. What happens when we gain muscle mass? Well, that metabolism begins firing up. You're starting to burn more calories even just sitting here. Muscle, again, per pound takes up less space than fat. So you may even begin to notice, although you may gain muscle mass, which is gaining a little bit of weight, but you may notice that your clothes are fitting better and that you're actually becoming smaller in size. Now, if you can gain muscle mass, and if you have any body fat to lose, begin to lose some body fat in at the same time, you'll start to notice that your body is shrinking, but your muscle tone, your metabolism, all of a sudden are increasing, and you're fitting into your clothes a whole of a heck lot better. So as far as my clients go, those are their number one concerns. And then those who are getting into their 70s. And so there's that importance of staying capable of being independent and doing what you want and doing what you can. And that becomes even a lot more important as we age as well. So there's our immediate wants and goals, right? And then there's our longer term wants and goals. So maintaining muscle mass, maintaining bone density, of course, are super important as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to make sure that when I'm 90 plus, that I don't have a walker, I don't have a cane.
Mm-hmm.
I'm up, I'm capable, and I can do all the hard things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We got to think of what we want right now and then what we want 10 years from now, 20, 30, right? If we're lucky, 40, right? I don't know about you, but I plan to live to 100. I've already committed that to my family. But you know what? One of my most favorite things to do while I scroll social media is find the things where there are 80, 90-year-olds doing amazing things. One, like I just saw one yesterday. It was a 90-year-old finishing her first marathon, right? Or it might have been a half marathon, but either way, amazing. So I love to find these things that are inspiring older people staying independent. Not only that, but like doing things for the first time. Like that, I want that. I want that. And I'm willing to pay the
Sure.
price.
Yes. Yeah. And over time your body starts to crave it anyway. Like I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you remember, there was one client that came to us, and I don't remember who she worked with, but she was 69. She had just turned 69, and by the time she turned 70, she wanted to hike up Half Dome.
Mm-hmm.
And she did it. And I remember seeing her, and she had never been in the gym before. She had never lifted weights before. It was very new. All of it was so new to her. And
Mm-hmm.
she's one of my inspirations.
Yeah, absolutely. Very inspiring.
Very much so. I mean, there's nothing to be said, especially in this day and age, that we can't live to at least 100 and enjoy every
Mm-hmm.
year.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing preventing us from doing it except ourselves. So, well,
So when I think about, sorry to interrupt,
go ahead.
but I want to leave women with like, okay, I'm supposed to lift heavy shit. What do I do about that? Right? Like,
Right.
let me tell you, there are plenty of options. You could work out from home. You could work out from your favorite gym. You can work out outside. What we need is you could have something so simple as resistance bands. You can use your body weight only. Wow, you can get a good workout with your body weight only. Or if you can have an assortment of weights available to you. All right. Now, if you've never worked out before, I'd highly recommend just starting 1 day a week, strength training, maybe 5 exercise, right? And as you're thinking about, well, what exercises should I do? I want you to think about our basic human movements. We've got the squat, we've got the lunge, we've got a hinge, we've got push, we've got pull, we've got rotation, we've got our gait, right? Our walking. Walking is one of the most powerful things you can do. And when you just think about our basic human movements, then you can begin to put together your own little workout. I'm going to do a squat. I'm going to do a hinge. I'm going to do a push. I'm going to do a pull. I'm going to do a rotation. There's a workout right there for you. If
Yep.
you do one workout a week in a 12 to 15 rep range, maybe you do 1 to 2 sets of each of those exercises, you're at a good place to start. Now that's for a beginner. If you've been working out, but maybe you've been doing group fitness classes that tend to be more low weight, high repetitions, then it's time to throw in a higher weight, lower rep type of exercise. So maybe you do that once or twice a week. Again, same thing, basic human movements, doing it at a 12 to 15 rep count to 1 to 3 sets, maybe if you've been a worker outer already. Now, the key with lifting heavy stuff is figuring out, well, what's heavy for me? And let me tell you, they're going to be different, right? Your upper body might not be able to lift the same thing your lower body can do. So don't think about doing the same weight for all of these things. You need to begin to get inside of your body and utilizing a rate of perceived exertion scale or rate of effort exertion scale, okay? Now, when you are lifting heavy, you'll know you're in the sweet spot. If at rep 9, 10, 11, right? If you're doing 12 reps, this works for this count. This is your example. When you're at 10, 11, 12, your last 3 reps or so, you should be going, OMG, this is heavy. Can I complete, I'm just going to show you with a bicep curl as an example. Can I complete these reps with good form, but really challenging myself, right? If the answer is yes, then you're in the sweet spot, knowing that you're lifting the right amount of weight, okay? I mentioned the rate of exertion scale or rate of perceived exertion. Now, that is a 1 through 10, right? 1 is I could do this all day long. 10 is I can do 1 to 2 reps. Now you should be in the 4, 5, 6 range. This is heavy. This is very heavy. This is really heavy, right? In that range is your sweet spot. 10, 11, 12, right? The reps. That's when you should be in. This is heavy. This is very heavy, but I can complete it with good form still, quality form. That's how you know you're in the sweet spot of lifting heavy stuff for yourself. All right. So whether you're new to working out or you've been working out for a while, you now have an understanding of the exercises. the set and rep range. And now with the rate of perceived exertion scale, you know when you're in the sweet spot. There you go.
Exactly. Now, here's something that I know one of us is going to hear after this.
Yeah.
But if I lift heavy, I will bulk up. First of all, any of you have told me that you've seen my face. My face doesn't lie. I can't hide my emotions or my response.
Yeah.
That's not how biology works.
Yeah.
That's
So
not.
let me ease your mind right now as it pertains to hulking out, which is what I call it, bulking or hulking out. I want to let you know the women who have that much muscle mass on their body are trained professionals. They work their, can I say ass? They work their ass off to get to that level, right? They are in the gym almost every day for hours. They are throwing around some heavy weight, okay? Now, for your average woman that is not training that way will never reach that level of muscle mass. I can guarantee you, you cannot get that level of muscle mass without working for hours, for years, right? Like they have been training for that. And there is no way that you are in fear of getting to that level without that kind of commitment, okay? So ease your fears that that is not going to happen for you. If that is something that you want, that's going to take some serious commitment. But if you don't want that, there is no way that you are in danger of getting to that level. The level that I recommended with the exercises, the sets, the way that you should be feeling, now that's for those who are wanting to increase some muscle mass, but is going to take some time to build up, that wants to find their muscles in their body, right? Maybe we call it muscle tone, muscle development. Now, if that's what you're looking for, you want to see some sexy shoulder, right, muscle, then that's what you're going to receive with what I recommended, okay? That other style of training is something very different. It requires a different level of commitment to gym time, okay? So you won't get there with this. That won't happen.
No. I'm glad someone else is saying it besides just me.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
No fear.
I love chatting with Alta because she is full of information. We share very similar philosophies, which is another thing I love.
Right.
But well, we can talk your ear off all day. I know you guys are as busy as we are. So can you tell everybody where they can find you? Because I know some people will have some questions and we want to make sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, let me start off with the social medias, right? You can find me at alta.acosta.fitness on Facebook. All right. That is my personal, I love to share fitness information, my own personal passions and struggles. I'm pretty open book, right? And on Instagram at Foundation Fitness and Nutrition. And of course, my website, www.foundationfn.com.
I love that.
And I would love to hear from all of you. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, we can talk all things perimenopause to postmenopause, life, fitness, nutrition. I have cancer experience and I have connected with a lot of wonderful women on their own cancer journey. So please reach out.
Absolutely. And I'll make sure all the things are very easy for you guys to find. Thank you. I know we've been trying to do this for a while, so I really appreciate you coming on and taking the time for this. We'll chat with you.
Thank you for having me.
Later.
Bye.
Okay.